as Black History Month. So, what does Black excellence mean to you? Anyone? So, Black excellence means nothing to us? Yes. Well, I'm asking you the question, what does it mean to you? Then I'll tell you what it means to us. So when you hear the word, what does it mean to you, or the phrase, Black excellence? Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Anyone else? All right. So as it regards to the topic of Black excellence, as was said before, we're just gonna be showcasing, persons that have done great things for the Black community. We're just gonna be highlighting those contributions that they have made, and as it.
It,
Sorry. Go ahead, brother Chad. Yes, so brother Chad is talking, and I'm just gonna be echoing what he's saying.
it's better now. Okay, okay. Thank you. So I was just saying that the discussion on black excellence is relevant because the world, I believe, is used to excellence coming from outside of the black race. So the discussion on black excellence is a discussion typically heard during Black History Month that gives the world the opportunity to remind everyone that there is excellence that has emerged from the black community so that the black community now can feel
Empowered.
empowered to strive for excellence.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that, brother Chad. And
And if anyone would like to make a comment, you could use this standing mic here. All right, thank you.
all right. So brother Chad, did make mention as it regards to Black excellence, and something else that we can also look on is our history. And as they always say, if you don't know your history, then regarding your future, how are you going to know what your future should be like if you're not sure what your history is? So, with us having that knowledge as it regards to slavery, as it regards to racism, in that sense, having a month for Black history, just to showcase what Black excellence is, just to highlight those persons within our community. And this is not only, for the Black community as well. So as it regards to this, having that knowledge, and as Brother Chad said, feeling empowered in that sense, then we'll know what our past is and how we can move forward as it regards to the future. So we're gonna be showing a little video as it regards to Black excellence, just to start off. Then we're gonna go into the different sections.
What is black excellence? Is it something that can be combined within 28 days of the year? Is it something that starts and stops? Or is it more of an enduring quality? Can it be limited to just one type of person or to one particular race? Well, the answer to that question is no. However, it is within the context of blackness that excellence takes on a higher meaning. Now, I know, the philosophy of Cat Williams tells us that excellence is already excellent. How you gonna out excellence excellence? It's just excellent.
I don't know how you gonna out fantastic.
But when it comes to black excellence, it is excellence that has risen after being cast down.
You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lines. You can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, all right.
As Grandma used to say, when it comes to black excellence, you can get mad or you can get glad.
Black excellence is an all-time high.
But don't get mad because I'm glad.
Black excellence is still at an all-time high.
And sure, it's Black History Month, traditionally a time when we look back and celebrate our heritage and our heroes.
A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide.
But truthfully, to find black excellence, we don't necessarily have to journey back to last century.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the hope and the dream of the slave.
Simply looking at last month reveals endless examples of excellence in action.
There
Just reflecting on the moments of last week, we see the essence of black excellence.
One of the more historic moments of the day, the first woman vice president about to be sworn in. The first woman of color. You can only imagine little girls from sea to shining sea looking on as their parents say, you too can do that.
You know, I never shed a tear about that until this moment. I went back to get what I needed in order to achieve what I wanted. And I think of the many young black women who go through that and are devastated by it, and it kills their dream. I was not going to let that happen.
We can find exemplary black excellence by simply looking back to just a moment ago.
How you doing? It is Sunday morning, and we have got so much to give God thanks for.
And yes, as we prepare our hearts and minds for worship, we can find and experience the epitome of excellence right now.
Evening again. Okay, so I am in charge of helping to educate or remind the church of the civil rights leaders / political leaders that help to promote black excellence. And I am going to be talking in just 2 or 3 that we all know, but let's not take it for granted. So I'm here to educate. Okay, so we're going to start with Rosa Parks. Anybody know any simple thing about Rosa Parks? She sat on a bus, and what was the defining thing about it? What did she do? She was in the front, and she refused to get up? Okay. So I'm glad that we all know a little something about it, so let me start. Rosa Parks occupies an iconic status in the civil rights movement after she refused to vacate a seat on a bus in favor of a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. In 1955, Parks rejected a bus driver's order to leave a row of 4 seats in the colored section once the white section had filled up and moved to the back of the bus. Now let's have a little perspective. Sister Nicole, what is your occupation? You're an educator. And what time do you get up in the morning? 7 a.m. Okay, so you drive, so let's assume that you take the bus, right? Now, if you take the bus, you're going to have to, how far do you live from? 15 minutes? Okay. I know the bus system, so it'll take you probably like an hour and a half, right? So you're gonna have to get up like an hour and a half early, and traffic, so it's gonna take probably 2 hours. So you get up at 4:30. Let's put it there, right? So Sister Nicole gets up at 4:30, and she has to make it to work on time. She reached early. She's very hardworking, studious. Her kids love her, right? And work is done. She's tired. A whole day, some kids were giving trouble, and she had to step aside at lunchtime and said, "Lord, give me the strength to get through the day." Now she's on the bus, and it's a long ride. It's 5 o'clock. Everyone's going home. She's in the colored section because we're back in 1960s. She's in the colored section, and she doesn't want any trouble. She's a good Christian woman. And the bus driver says, "You need to go to the back." Now, Sister Nicole, what would you do? You'd go to the back, right? I would do that as well. I'm not a loud person. I'd say, "Okay, to the back, sir. Say no more." You want me to the back, or the second row from the back? Where exactly do you want me to be positioned? Now, Miss Rosa, she said, "Not today. I had a long day, and I know you think that there's a difference between my skin tone and you're superior. But let me tell you something." And she refused. Not something that a lot of people will do, including myself, which is why we have to put her on the pedestal. We have to showcase her and let everyone know that, listen, this is not an easy thing to do. There are so many crazy things going on back then. She could have been killed. Any crazy white person might have been, "Oh, you think you have rights? Let me remind you that you are not. You are not equal to me. If I want to sit down, then I will sit down. You need to listen to the bus driver." So her defiance sparked a successful boycott of buses in Montgomery. A few days later, residents refused to board the city buses. Instead, they carpooled, rode in black-owned cabs, or walked, some as far as 20 miles. The boycott dealt a severe blow to the bus company's profits, as dozens of public buses stood idle for months. Now, we have to understand why. Because majority of the black population took the bus. They didn't have like their own transportation to and from. And you think that would sway, like before even the whole uprising, you think it would sway like, okay, our company depends on black people, we need to treat them better? No. But this boycott was successful, and it spread a new light in each and every black person that was living in that time. She inspired a lot of people, and that is why the boycott was successful. And I'm going to quote her when she says, "I was not tired physically, or no more tired than I usually was at the end of a working day. I was not old, although some people may have an image of me being old then. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." And it's a different kind of tired. Like some people do 9 to 5, some people do school, they have a lot of going on, but she wasn't tired physically, she was tired of the oppression. And that is what led her to do that one little thing, that one, "No, I'm not moving, no, I'm sitting where I am." Yes, Brother Chad.
I think she went to Sister Prayer said she went to jail also as a result of what she
and
did.
a lot of things happened after, but it was all for a good cause. And I know that she didn't think that everything that happened afterwards would have happened, but it's a good thing. She was a leader. She led in a lot of other movements, and she's an inspiration to us all today. Another person who I'm going to touch on is Sir Martin Luther King. And I'm going to quote him first when he says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." Born in 29, in Atlanta, Georgia, King was heavily influenced by his father, a church pastor. The church is coming in. Yes, who King saw stand up to segregation in his daily life. In 1936, King's father also led a march of several hundred African Americans to Atlanta City Hall to protest voting rights discrimination. After finishing his doctorate, King returned to the South at the age of 25, becoming a pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. Shortly after King took up residence in the town, Rosa Parks made a history, which we just covered, when she refused to give up her seat for a white passenger on Montgomery bus. Starting in 1955, Montgomery's black community staged an extremely successful bus boycott that lasted for over a year. King played a pivotal leadership role in organizing the protests. His arrest and imprisonment as the boycott's leader propelled King into the national stage as a figure in the civil rights movement. Now, I've always heard of Martin Luther. Coming from Jamaica, they didn't really show like exactly how awful it was. I only know of the national heroes. I only know of Nanny and Sam Sharp, but I didn't know like everything that was happening in America. You know, the two races, one feeling like they're superior over the other. So it was very enlightening to me and inspiring too, because in 2022, I can't imagine not having the rights that I have now, and having someone who was born the same way, who is going to be buried just like me at whatever time in the future, feeling as if they're on a pedestal when God created all men equal. And Martin Luther King, he opposed that. He did it so well. He had his famous speech, "I had a dream of everyone being equal, I'd want to say he did not hate the white man. He wanted all of us to be brothers and sisters in arms. So he didn't want the violence. He didn't want us to retaliate and say, oh no, you're going to shoot me, I'm going to shoot you, or you think you're going to segregate and you're going to have more rights than me, then no, we're going to overpower you and then you're going to be the ones who are belittled. No, he wanted everyone on the same stage, have the same opportunities and rights, and it is something to look up to. And everyone knows of him. He has a day, right, in January that just passed. And I think he was assassinated. I'm not completely sure. I feel like he was. But it's good to know that his dreams, his aspirations, they were not silenced. And we can look back on everything that he did, and he is still touching our hearts and inspiring us today. Anyone has anything that they want to say before I move on? No?
I would say that I think every city in America has a Martin Luther King Boulevard or something of that nature, and that just goes to show how good of a work that he did. And it's not easy for someone to stand up, because the other option was just to continue with the status quo and accept how things have been for over decades and centuries. But he chose to stand up. It wasn't easy for him. I think there's evidence of his saying, of his talking about how scared he was and how his family was attacked. Some people, black people, also had issues with him as well. However, I think he leaned on the Lord. He found his strength in the Lord. And that is what helped him to, and he wasn't even a great speaker initially, but I think it was the Lord that helped him to be as great as he was.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so too, because I was just thinking about, okay, he has a father, his father is a pastor, and there must have been like a lot of scriptures that he, like prayers, like some nightly prayers. Lord, I don't know how I'm going to make this speech tomorrow. Lord, I could be killed tomorrow. Lord, I'm leading thousands of people into freedom, and I need your strength. I need your shoulder to lean on. And I think that it was that strength that really helped him to continue. And Yes, so we need God in all things. And it is good that he had God. And yes, you do have people who can rise to the occasion, but there's a special, God gives that extra oomph that you need daily. From even if it's just this, even if it's just like in a classroom and you want to speak up, you're like, Miss, I don't understand this, and like there are probably like a couple other students who don't understand as well. That's the same oomph you need to go on a stage and give a worldwide speech about I had a dream. So he's a it's a different kind of person that you need to, be to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on one more person, and that is Barack Obama. Let me my phone right there. Someone present, someone who we all know. And who is your favorite president? Let me ask you that. What are your why sister? Why is Barack Obama your favorite president? And what does that symbolize to you? What does that mean to you? Okay, so Sister Pear just said that. Oh, you're gonna. She just said that he's her favorite president because he symbolizes opportunity and a lot of things that the black man was not exposed to. So let me just tell you a little something, some facts about Sir Barack. Okay, so accomplishments during his reign, let me say. So, since he was in power, because that is a seat of power, not everyone can be called the President of the United States. So since then, the African American unemployment rate has seen a larger percent point decline in the recovery, falling much faster than the overall unemployment rate over the last year. The poverty rate for African Americans fell faster in 2015 than in any year since 1999. African American children also made large gains in 2015, with the poverty rate falling 4.2% points and 400,000 fewer children in poverty. Teen pregnancy among African American women is at an historic low. Life expectancy at birth is the highest it's ever been for African Americans. Since the start of Affordable Care Act's first open enrollment period at the end of 2013, the uninsured rate among non-elderly African Americans has declined by more than half. The U.S. Department of Education is responsible for funding more than $4 billion for HBCUs each year. Pell Grant funding for HBCU students increased significantly between 2007 and 2014, growing from $523 million to $824 million. $30 million competitive grant program called the HBCU and Minority Serving Institutions Innovation for Completion Fund, designed to support innovative and evidence-based student-centered strategies and interventions to increase the number of low-income students completing degree programs at HBCUs and MSIs. The first in the world program provided unique opportunities for HBCUs to compete for grant focus on innovation to drive student success. The incarceration rates for African American men and women fell during each year of Obama's administration and are at their lowest point in over 2 decades. The number of juveniles in secure detention has been reduced dramatically over the last decade. Nearly 250 communities in all 50 states execute their own strategic plans to ensure all young people can reach their full potential. Let me skip. Okay. President Obama has made 62 lifetime appointments of African Americans to serve on the federal bench. So we can see that he has done his part. He has brought African American, like our success rate, our exposure, the opportunities that we get, it has increased immensely since he has been in office. And unfortunately, even though we don't have him in office anymore, we can appreciate everything that he has done. The insurances, the help in tuition for university students, it has been the best. And we can safely say in this small room that he was the best president. And we're looking and we're hoping for a Barack Obama 2.0 in the future, right? So our Black excellence can only grow. And he has inspired a lot of children, a lot of adults, everyone who has this skin color, even those who didn't. He made a change, and we have to appreciate that. Anybody have any comments before I leave the stage? No? Anyone on Zoom?
Yes, we can. From Ella Edwards. So what I'll add is his father was from Kenya, and his mother is American white lady, and I think that the thing that stood out or that stands out about President Obama is his appeal to blacks and non-blacks. He was excellent. He went to Harvard Law School. He was the first president of the Harvard Law Review, which is a big deal. And he was born in Hawaii, and then he did some time at Columbia. We lived in New York, lived in Chicago, and so, and he has this appeal. He had this appeal to many people, and so even though he had this appeal, he brought his blackness to the White House. When he came to Jamaica, he greeted the crowd by saying "Wagwan." So I think he tries to connect with
He
people.
has that charisma that
Right.
draws you in. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's a thread that runs through even the first two personalities. I think more so even Martin Luther King, where he had that appeal to even non-whites. He had a friendship with Malcolm X, who was Muslim, but they held hands, they connected arms in the struggle. So I think one of the takeaways is even though you're excellent as a black person, you will find success in connecting with non-blacks as well, right? Yes. Amen.
Anyone else wants to give their 2 cents? No? Anyone on Zoom want to say anything? You want to tell us?
Hello?
Hi.
Yes, hi. I was saying earlier that back to what Brother Chad was saying about how Martin Luther was afraid for his family. And it's a very important point to note that bravery is not the absence of fear. It's just to forge ahead even when you feel afraid. And that's a very important lesson I think I have learned, and it's an important lesson that we can learn. Because I think once we feel afraid, we tend not to go forward. But it's really not the absence of fear. Yeah, so that's my little 1 cent.
Okay, thank you so much. And that is true. Because all of us are afraid. We shouldn't think that just because they're doing big things that, oh, they're fearless and that they're just confident all the while and they can just do anything they want. No, they are human just like the rest of us. It's just that they have that push, they have that drive to do amazing things even though they're fearful. Thank you so much, and this is the end of.
Say something about Rosa Parks?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. Rosa Parks' decision to disobey the laws then was intentional. It was carefully thought out and planned. It wasn't a spontaneous act. It was something that she actually a group of blacks got together and decided to, and she decided to take up the position to be defiant. So it was intentional and it was carefully thought out. It was a brave act, but I just wanted to make sure that we understand it was something that was planned. It wasn't as spontaneous.
As we think.
I'm just not going to listen to them today. It wasn't that kind of thing. So we have a better understanding.
Okay, no, thank you for enlightening us. I thought, but either way, it still takes courage, right? She was still going against the norm
Absolutely.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I mean that was tough. She was pretty brave in doing that.
Yes.
To go against the law, knowing that you're going to be thrown into jail. That was a really brilliant, brave,
True.
brilliant act.
Yes, and that is why we put all of our civil rights leaders on the pedestal of excellence and greatness. Thank you very much, and that's the end of this section. Okay, so this is a poem by Michael Wynne. I am a black child. I am special. Ridicule cannot sway me. I am strong. Obstacles cannot stop me. I hold my head high, proudly proclaiming my uniqueness. I hold my pace, continuing forward through adversity. I am proud of my culture and my heritage. I am confident that I can achieve my every goal. I am becoming all that I can be. I am the black child. I am a child of God.
This poem is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes of springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes? Should shoulders fall down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you like it awfully hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history, shame, I rise. Up from a past that rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak like one just clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
All right, and thank you very much, Casey and Kalia. So, Brother Chad is saying it's Khadija and, but it's Casey and Kalia. Yes. All right, and we're gonna be going into our next section. We're gonna be speaking uh, on the topic of invention, specifically black inventors and their inventions. And Josiah will be sharing on that topic. But before he does, just wanted to ask if anyone, does anyone knows any black inventor and what their invention is or was? Anyone? Steph is saying something from the back. George Washington Carver. Steph said, you said peanut? Introducing peanut butter. Okay. All right. So Steph shared one. Okay. All right. So just to share a bit more on this, Josiah will be sharing with us as it regards to black inventors and what their invention was. Josiah, are you on? All right. Just want to tell Josiah thanks for sharing. Anyone learned anything from that presentation that was done by Josiah? And great job as well, Josiah, with the presentation. Brother Chad?
I would just like to add that there are a lot of inventions that are that are credited to other persons, but unfortunately, black persons actually created some crucial element to those inventions, but haven't gotten credit over the years. So just wanted to mention that.
All right. Thank you for that, Brother Chad. Anyone else?
Yes, yes, brother Kasai. I was teaching my students past week about Garrett Morgan. They were really fascinated, kindergartners, that the traffic light. So now it's like they know whenever they see the traffic light, oh, that was Garrett Morgan. So that was really exciting for them, and it was a prideful moment also because they hear a lot of things about negative things about black people. But when they see and hear that, okay, a black person did this, and we're all using it, And also, there's the bristle of the bristle of the hairbrush was invented by a black woman. I can't remember her name right now. And that too is something to be, to be proud of. That, there's like Brother Chad said, a lot of inventions are out there that black people invented that were done by black people. We don't hear about it, but we need to read up on those things because it makes you feel, feel good in the sense that, because we are intelligent people and we don't see it as often, we don't get the credit. So
That is true.
yeah.
All right.
Yes, Sister Pat. Also, I would like to add the cure for leprosy was credited to a white male for years, but it was actually a black female in Hawaii. I forget her name, but she's the one who was the one who found it, and it's recently that they actually gave her credit. Very recently, she died, never got credit for it. After she died, that's when they found out and gave her credit for it.
All right. Thank you very much. And we're just going to share a quick song, and then we're going to have a game section. The lyrics of the song is what we should be listening to as well. Then we're going to have Khadija that will be, making us laugh as it regards to black excellence.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord
Good evening, everybody. How are we all feeling now? The Sabbath is winding down. Did we get some rest? Was the Sabbath good? Okay, great. My Zoom family, was the Sabbath good?
Yeah, Khadija, can I ask a question before you move on?
Sure.
So, in light of the scripture that said that we should turn the other cheek, how much is too much for a Christian in the fight against injustice and oppression? And I asked because I was at work, my last job, I exposed injustice and spoke up against it. And somebody said to me, "Oh, as a Christian, you're the last person I would expect that from." And I said to them, had there not been a Rosa Parks and a Martin Luther King, where would we be today? And she said, "Well, whatever happened to turn the other cheek?" So, my question is, how much is too much for a Christian in the fight against oppression or injustice?
Great question. My fellow brothers and sisters, would you mind assisting me in answering Sister Carrion's question? Anybody? Brother Chad? Where Brother Chad? Brother Chad, how much is too much in the turn of the other cheek?
Well, good question. I think it's a hard question to answer. I think just trusting in the Lord. Sometimes standing up, turning on the other cheek, it's good, but you won't see the benefits immediately. And I think, no, seriously, in turning the other cheek, the desire is not to get congratulations, awards, but just by turning the other cheek, you're making a difference. And the difference may not be acknowledged, but you're making a difference. And sometimes you will lose initially. You may lose that job. You may lose that quote unquote respect. But in the long run, they talk about the glass ceiling. You're making a chip in the glass ceiling. And one day that will break. So and oftentimes the person that you talk about, as you've spoken about before, Barack Obama, I would say Rosa Parks, Reverend Martin Luther King, they were not the first. They were standing on the shoulders of persons who did turn the other cheek. They didn't get the reward immediately, but it was the first step. So turn the other cheek and do it for the right reasons, and down the road you will see the change. That's my response.
Thank you so much, Brother Chad. Anybody else? Anybody else?
If that turning someone else has something to say? Sorry.
You can go ahead, Sister Pat. Yeah.
It's just a question. I'm wondering if when that statement was made in scripture, if it was referring to every situation and if it was to be taken so literally. Because, in scripture, we notice that God's people didn't always turn the other cheek. We read of battles and wars in the Bible, God's people fighting and destroying nations, destroying people. So I am wondering how much of turning the other cheek is actually literal. And is it supposed to be done at all time? Because, if you really think about it, black people turned the other cheek for hundreds of years. They ran away when they were being so ill-treated and they couldn't take it anymore. But how much should they turn the other cheek? Is it really that literal? It's supposed to be taken that literally?
I would say that there's a difference in turning the other cheek and being revengeful. I think that's the spirit with the difference between both of them. When you turn the other cheek, it prevents you from being revengeful to someone. But when you stand up for justice, the Bible does talk about this, It's a good thing to stand up for justice. If someone is doing something wrong and we say nothing, we're also just as wrong, If someone is doing something to hurt us, we should protect ourselves. But turning the other cheek prevents us from being vengeful because vengeance belongs to the Lord.
Right. That just to, go
I have
ahead.
a question though. Yes?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the question I have though, based on what Martin Luther King did, right? We all are being benefiting from it today. So how do you deal with situation and putting your family life in jeopardy?
Can you repeat that last part?
Yeah, what Martin Luther King did, we all are benefiting from it today.
Yes.
But remember his family ending up without a father. Was that right based on what he did? Just a question I'm asking.
You know, I actually struggle with the same question. I know what you're saying, you know. That's why these people deserve to be heroes because I wouldn't be excited to have my husband go out there and be this leader because I would be faced with the possibility of him losing his life. That is why they deserve to be heroes. I think God put a special calling on their lives for them to do this, just as how in past times God put a special calling on David's and other people's lives to fight battles. It wasn't always God's will for the children of Israel to go out and fight a war, but there was a time for it. I think there was a time in history for black people to stand up and fight the war against injustice. So I would just say he was just under an unction to do something for his black humanity, and may God bless him for it.
Can I add something to that also? Quick? That's a good point, Mr. Walker. Remember, Martin Luther was considered a pacifist. So, in other words, when they would protest and they were beaten, they were sprayed with water hoses, thrown in jail, he did not fight back. And some of the things why we should appreciate them so much is some of the benefits we have today is because of what those guys did then, and they didn't see the benefit during that time, but we see a lot of it today. It's another reason we should appreciate them. There was a sacrifice for him, and it was a sacrifice for his family.
There are so many what do you call it, like in the Bible, like Christ. I'm not trying to compare Martin Luther or any of these activists to Christ, but you know, if you think about John the Baptist, and just to get the message across so God's people can be saved, you know, there are people who were not the martyrs, the disciples. They sacrificed their lives, you know, if you really think about it. So God has his people who are in place to do certain things, and it's going to be a sacrifice, you know, and it's, you know, I think that's what it boils down to. And definitely Dr. King, did sacrifice his family, you know. This is one of the things, I mean, because there are a lot of people who go out and do these things, a lot of activists, even today they're activists, but going back to like Rosa Parks and what I said earlier, if we really look at how organized they were, you know, it's not, you know, because he could have died earlier, he could have died a long time ago, long time before he made any change, you know, but there were people, it was so organized that, you know, and we have to think too that evil exists no matter what, you know, evil exists, you're out there trying to do good, and, you know, and evil presents itself, you know, evil, you know, don't want to lose my thought. But my point is that, yes, he sacrificed himself, and there are others who did the same thing in the Bible. We can see that, you know, God called people to sacrifice themselves for the better good.
Thank you so much, Sister Pat. I'm going to give the last and final thought to Brother Chad. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to reinforce Sister Walker's point that you can identify that there's a problem with a situation. You could be the victim of segregation or any injustice, But turning the other cheek means you plan to address the injustice, but in a passive way, in a way that is not violent or disrespectful. That's what I mean by turning the other cheek. As you turn the cheek, you're not turning your eye away from the problem. You're addressing the problem, but you're doing it peacefully.
Got you. Thank you so much, Brother Chad. And thank you all. Thank you for starting that discussion, Sister Greenland. It was very informative, and I think we learned something from each other a while ago. Okay, so it is my duty, a part of this program, to send us off in a fun and vibrant way. I don't know about laughs and stuff, but we're going to play a Guess Who game. I'm going to give you like a sentence or two of a fact about a person who can be seen as exhibiting Black excellence, and we are going to guess who that person is. Kasai has shared his screen so that you can see an outline, some here, of some of these persons to try and see if you can guess along with the fact that I am about to read. Okay, so we'll start. The first person wrote and published a memoir that tells the story of mid-20th century Black American women and the hardships they faced as they labored to be appreciated for their intellectual contributions and their humanity. Okay, so I'm going to try and call some names. So, Sister Pat, you get the first guess. Do you know who this lady who exhibits Black excellence is?
Not quite. I'm not quite. I'm not sure.
You want to take a lucky guess?
Is that Patty LaBelle?
No, not Patty.
Okay. I think you showed before. I don't remember. I have short-term memory problems. Okay, is that Aretha Franklin?
Not Aretha. Okay, Sister Pat, your guess is up. Sister Nicole, you want to take a guess? Not Oprah. Elder Fenton, you want to take a guess who this lady is?
No idea.
No? Okay, I'm opening the floor to one more person. She wrote and published a memoir.
Michelle Obama?
Not Michelle Obama. Okay, so... Is that Sister Greenland? Yes, Sister Greenland. Who is your guess?
Sister Deborah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No. No.
Cecile Tyson.
Cecily Tyson. Yes, it is. So we all know Cecily. She died just a few months ago at the age of 94. If you have listened to her, watched her in movies, she is everything a phenomenal Black woman should be. She has exhibited the characteristics of her, and personally, I just love her. But this is Cecily Tyson. Okay, next person. Founded Protestantism, which aided in stamping out the abuse from the Roman Catholicism. That's the hardest fact I could find without giving it away. Who is this person? Founded Protestantism, which aided in stamping out the abuse from Roman Catholicism? Something like that? Martin Luther. Who guessed that?
Monica Malvio.
Okay, congrats. You got that one right.
Isn't that the other Martin Luther? No? Not Dr. King, right?
No?
No.
Oh, whoops, I got it wrong. Wrong photo, it seems.
Okay, it's okay. People get them mixed up all the time. This is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
Martin Luther King.
Uh-huh.
Martin Luther Reformer, right, yeah. Martin Luther is a reformer, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The Montgomery bus boycott, next person, continued for 381 days and didn't end until the city repealed its segregation law. She was the one who started this all. Yes, of course we got that one right. Okay, the next one. She's an American mathematician known for her work contributing to the development of the Global Positioning System, also known as GPS.
They had a movie about her.
What's the name?
I don't remember.
Gladys West. Dr. Chad, are you cheating? You just, you just heard about her. Okay. Her name is Gladys West. So we're all using GPS today. We can say that she contributed to the success of that because personally, I can't go anywhere without my GPS. I need it for sure. Okay, because of her trauma, she spent 5 years of her childhood life as a mute. She was known to be an American author, actress, screenwriter, dancer, poet, and civil rights activist. She is best known for her 1969 memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Maya Angelou. Can anybody share one of her quotes that they absolutely love? I rise. I rise. Yes, still I rise. I wanted to share. The one that I love is the one that says, I don't remember it word for word, or my duty in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do so with some compassion. I don't remember it word for word, but that is one of my favorite ones from her. Okay, next person. Created a homemade line of hair care products for Black women that made her a self-made millionaire. She created a business empire employing women to hand sell her creation.
C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker. Yes. Okay, next one. And this is her, okay? Yes. Yes, Steph. Next. Scroll. Okay, widely known for her history-making turn in 1972 when she became the first African-American from a major political party to run for president and the first Democratic woman of any race to do so.
Michelle Obama.
No. No. Anybody else? Her name is Shirley Chisholm. Yes, she was the first African American to run for president. Okay, next. The year was 1972. Okay, next. The only sprinter to have won gold in 3 consecutive Olympics. Anybody? No, not Fraser. Yes. Usain Bolt. Okay, next. Dedicated his life to fight for equality and overthrew Africa's racist system. No.
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. Thank you, Elder Amos. Okay, next. He became the first and only African American to own his own film studio without any partnerships and outside backing. Tyler Perry. Yes, Steph yelled it from in the music room. Okay, next. She's the first Black American female billionaire. Oprah Winfrey. And last but not least, can I get it out? Served as a role model for women and worked as an advocate for poverty, awareness, education, nutrition, physical activity, and healthy eating. America's first African American First Lady, Michelle Obama. Thank you guys for participating. And here ends our AY program for this evening. It was a pleasure sharing with you all, and it has been an educated journey for me. I didn't know so much about these Black excellent leaders that we have here in society, and I hope that we are all trying to be our best excellent selves as well, and not limiting ourselves to our comfort level or comfort zone, or thinking that we cannot be or achieve great things. If not all, majority of these persons, they came from some beginnings that you wouldn't even imagine. And they made their way to the top to show us that we can do it too, no matter the color of our skin, no matter where we're from, no matter what we have been exposed to, no matter what opportunities presented itself, there is a chance for us as well. Yes, we can. Okay, so now I'm turning over to Vespers.